What is up, guys? Today we got the Galaxy S10 Plus versus the Galaxy S21 Ultra. So you might be considering upgrading your S10 Plus to the S21 Ultra. So let's go over the pros and cons of doing so. Alright, so let's go over the price. If you still want to get an S10 Plus, which I check out my video, it's still an excellent buy. Costs you around 300 bucks. And then the S21 Ultra, used refurbished like this one, 750. Brand new is still going to cost you about $1,000 so it's still a very expensive phone. As far as the hardware, they're both glass and metal designs, so very premium feeling. As you can see, the S10 is definitely smaller and much thinner as well, especially at the top here. And then the S21 Ultra is just heavier, and it's definitely the bigger device. Here you guys can see the button layout. Boom. Headphone jack down below, which could be a big deal for you. So if you do want a headphone jack, the S10 Plus does still retain it. USB Type-C and stereo speakers on both of these guys, which we will compare. Alright, let's go ahead and talk about the displays on both of these phones. So with the S21 Ultra, it has a much bigger display at 6.8 inches. It's a 120Hz display, HDR10 Plus, and then it's a 1440p display, 515 for the PPI. And then the S10 Plus does have a 6.4 inch display, so you know, kind of small, I guess, for a plus size phone these days. It just shows you how massive these phones are getting, around 6.8, 6.9 inches even. This one also has a 1440p display as well, 522 for the PPI, but you do sort of notice a difference here. Some people hate it, some people don't mind it, but this does have a double punch hole for the selfie, and then the ultra wide selfies for those group photos. On the S21 Ultra, it's just one punch hole, so that really comes down to personal preference. But as far as screen quality, they both kind of have a slight curve to the displays, if you can see that. Not a dramatic curve, so I don't really mind it. And then you have slimmer bezels, of course, on the S21 Ultra as well, which look really nice. As far as the overall panel quality, I really can't tell a difference. They look exactly the same, and I do mean exactly the same as far as color. Again, they're the same resolution as well, pretty much. They're both 2K displays, so extremely sharp in terms of color. Now here's where the big thing is. So basically, when you go to applications, it's the 120Hz display just feels super buttery smooth on here. The S1 Ultra just feels buttery smooth. S10 Plus does feel fast and everything, but it doesn't have that 120Hz, so it doesn't feel as smooth. So that's also something you should definitely consider as well. So you are just getting an overall faster feeling scroll with both displays, or with the S21 Ultra. But again, display wise, I think it's a pretty good upgrade, guys. Alright, so let's talk about the specs a little bit more. S21 Ultra, it is running the Snapdragon 888, Adreno 660, no SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, or 256 of internal storage, and then 12 gigs of RAM. This is the 256 version. And then you also have on the S10 Plus, you also have the Snapdragon 855, the Adreno 640 micro SD support. So the S10 Plus does have micro SD support, the S21 Ultra does not. And you also have the 128 gigs of internal storage and 8 gigs of RAM on this model here. And you can see the Geekbench scores. You get a pretty nice jump with the Geekbench scores. But honestly, I think for your casual user, I mean, let's see the difference, because the S10 Plus is just really fast to me. Yeah, so to me, that's not really a noticeable difference. Like I tell people all the time, the Snapdragon 855 chip is really a solid chipset, especially for the time we're in, because it just keeps up so well with these newer chips. I can't wait to see how it compares to the Snapdragon 898. Maybe we'll start to see a difference with that one, but yeah, I'm sorry, it just, like, this is too close. I think I actually load that up faster. Let's try this Temple Run, try game. It looks like the S10 Plus got it there. So as you can see, the S10 Plus is not a slow device at all. So if you were thinking you were going to get like a crazy speed upgrade, yes, with the benchmarks, yeah. But, you know, as far as gaming even, these both play at the same settings actually. I don't have a problem with overheating on, you know, either of these phones. So I would say the biggest speed difference is going to be, again, that's why I keep, you know, stressing the 120 hertz. It does make the phone feel just way faster. But in reality, when you're launching apps and stuff like that, it just doesn't feel, even when you're multitasking, yeah, you can multitask more applications on the S21 Ultra. So if you're a heavy multitasker, that 12 gigs of RAM, it's almost like it never kicks apps out of memory. But this has 8 gigs and it still does an excellent job to me as far as multitasking. Now again, both these phones pretty much play at the exact same settings. You have HDR Extreme and you can go up to Ultra HD on both of these devices here, which I think is awesome. So, you know, gaming performance is pretty much the same on here. It's really not that massive of a difference. And again, I do not have any type of overheating problems on both of these phones. Very smooth on both of these guys, so it's just like awesome experience. I would even say the S21, I mean the S10 Plus, it does such a great job because it's cheaper and you can get the same experience you would get on $1,000 phone. So that's also something to think about, just in case you don't have either of these and you're thinking about, you know, buying one for gaming. Alright, so I do have both speakers maxed out with Dolby Atmos. Let's see if we have a big speaker upgrade with the S21 Ultra. Start with the S10. Yeah, so off the rip, I can already tell it's a much fuller sound on the S21 Ultra. It's just louder and it has better bass quality. Which actually surprised me because the S10 speakers, or S10 Plus speakers, are actually really great. Yeah, so S21 Ultra speakers are definitely a nice upgrade. Now, these actually have a lot of the same features. This phone will get Android 12, but that'll be the last major update for this phone. But it'll still get an update like security patches, stuff like that. This phone, of course, you know, is going to get, you know, updates for, I believe, like the next 3 or 4 years. So we do have a lot of the same stuff on here as well. We do have wireless power sharing mode on both of these phones, so you can charge up another phone or earbuds or something like that. Samsung desktop support is still on here. NFC is still on here. Secure folders is still on here. So all that good stuff is, you know, still on the S10 Plus, and you know, it's on here as well. Desktop support, secure folders, NFC, the wireless power sharing mode. So it still has a lot of same features. So you're not really missing out on a ton of stuff as far as feature wise. Also, the in-display fingerprint sensor feels exactly the same, so they both feel extremely fast. Now, I did notice that if you guys look, this one is way, like, feels like it's way at the bottom, and they moved it up. So this one should be down here, but they moved it up. But I think this is the right place to put it, so it just feels more natural, like somewhere right here. So I do like that move that they did, but. Yeah, so as far as feature wise, Face Unlock works very fast on both of these phones. You still have a lot of the same stuff. So the cameras is where you'll pretty much see the biggest upgrade between both of these phones. It is a pretty massive upgrade. You get a 108 megapixel main lens on the S21 Ultra. It just gets a ton of detail, especially if you put it on a computer. You really see that detail start to pop. A 10 megapixel periscope telephoto, and then you also have a 10 megapixel telephoto lens that does 3x optical zoom, and then a 12 megapixel ultra wide camera that also acts as a macro camera as well. You also get 8K video at 24 frames, and then a 40 megapixel camera that shoots in 4K at 60 frames. Basically, this is a great you know, camera phone. probably one of the best Android cameras you can get right now. So it is a top tier shooter, and the zooming capabilities, it can go up to 100 times zoom, so that is really awesome as well. It even takes pretty crispy photos at 30 times zoom. So I was just really impressed with the zooming capabilities on this phone. And yeah, so it just takes awesome photos. The selfie cam is really great. Being able to shoot in 8K is really fun. And for the S10 Plus, for its price point, it still takes excellent photos. It's got a 12 megapixel standard, a 12 megapixel telephoto, 16 megapixel ultra wide, 4K video, 60 frames. And then it does have that 10 megapixel selfie with the 8 megapixel wide lens, and it shoots in 4K 60. So that is a nice little advantage. But, you know, overall, you are going to get better shots on the S21 Ultra, of course. But the S10 Plus does take great photos. They both have the same kind of image processing when it comes to the color. They both kind of give you that saturated look, but the selfie cam on the S21 Ultra is just really great. But like you can see the shots right here, they full of detail. The ultra wide is great. Telephoto is great. I don't have any problems with the S10 Plus camera, especially considering the price that it is at right now. Alright guys, so this is also another massive upgrade, the battery situation. So on the S10 Plus, you do have a much smaller battery. It's a 4,100 milliamp battery, 15 watt charging, wireless charging at 15 watts with reverse wireless charging. The S21 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp battery with 25 watt charging. Then you also have the wireless charging at 15, and then the reverse wireless charging. You're just getting better battery life on the S21 Ultra for sure. Standby time is better. Also, this phone does 5G. There is a 5G version of the S10 as well. So yeah, so battery life, your battery experience is going to be much better. So if you're looking for a really good battery upgrade, this is definitely a phone that will last you a day, day and a half if you're a light user. I can get through a day with this phone, but I do have to charge it at the end of the day. So yeah, so battery life is just going to be much better on the S21 Ultra here. So which phone do you guys prefer? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.